And so I wanted to make, to finish up here, I wanted to make one other point, which is to say then that both mysticism on the one hand and science on the other, which are very often mutually exclusive, not always, of course, but scientists of the Carl Sagan type, for example, with their absolutist paradigm operating out of this old, antiquated metaphysical idea that there's an absolute, that knowledge is something that can be gleaned in an absolute sense from studying objects, anathematizes mysticism. Mysticism is often, very often accepts the scientific purview, but then transcends it. But in both cases, note that they both presuppose, both the scientist and the mystic presuppose a privileged access to an ultimate reality that they can then claim to have absolute knowledge of, come back from that experience of this ultimate reality, whether it's the scientist like Faust studying his equations in his laboratory, or the mystic going up to the cave, like Muhammad, receiving the vision and coming back down. Then, because of the pretense of the mystic and the scientist to absolute knowledge, they can then organize societies and in a totalizing dogmatic way that subjects the population to these truth systems. And so you get this idea, as Gianni Vattimo says, that not every metaphysician is violent, but every violent man is a metaphysician, because the violent man is operating out of a dead certainty that he has access to an ultimate dimension of truth that he gets very dogmatic about, and which fuels his apparatus of power, whatever that happens to be, that he uses then to overcode and subjectivize the rest of the population. So we get this idea, and this wonderful idea of Heidegger, that you can escape this with the aletheia paradigm, that there is no such thing as a complete system of truth, contrary, let's say, to Ken Wilber or Hegel or thinkers of that type. There is no such thing as a complete system of truth, because no matter what the mind puts to reality, no matter what questions it puts to reality, what propositions, there are always aspects that slip. With every question, there's something else that becomes transcendent to our knowledge. This is one of the things that Heidegger carries over from Husserl. Husserl had said that there's always an aspect of phenomena that is transcendent to us. There are always these hidden sides of things that are transcendent in the sense that they're inaccessible to our knowledge. So there's always a hidden side to the world. We're never getting the full picture. And this becomes then, the transcendent side of the world becomes then in Heidegger the error-prone nature of truth systems, and then in his theory of the origin of the work of art, it becomes the idea of earth in opposition to world, where world is the cosmology that a work of art brings into being, it's beingness, but earth represents that aspect of the work of art that's mysterious. There's a fundamental mystery built into every work of art, such that evades capture by any totalizing aesthetic theory or any critic's attempt to nail down and capture in a totalizing manner the meaning of the work of art. There's always aspects of it. This is what earth means, because it's self-secluding in the same way that the clearing in which objects presence themselves, they presence themselves in a self-secluding manner. They reveal certain aspects of themselves, but as they do that, it's like they turn away at the same time they show you some part of themselves, and another part turns away, and you can't see what that other part that turns away in the truth process itself, in the clearing, is. So we're always getting these fragmented, impartial truth systems. So neither the mystic nor the scientist can pretend to lord over the rest of us with any kind of objective knowledge. Their systems can and should be deconstructed and pulled apart, and not held up as authoritarian models by way of which, it leads into the New Age cult of the guru and the followers, and you can still see this today with Ken Wilber. If you watch his videos on YouTube, he gives darshan basically like a Tibetan mystic who sits on the chair, and everybody asks him questions because he's the one who's privileged with ultimate access to ultimate reality, and he's got all the answers. That's a pretense, and you should never let anybody try to tell you that they have access to all there is to know, or that there is some ultimate truth that they're in possession of that you're not, and because you're deficient and they know it all, then you have to be subjected to what they know. So you should always mistrust knowledge systems. And I think that's what we can take away here from this analysis of Heidegger.